Dr. Jenny Brown has an amazing resume. I'm not going to read the whole thing. But one thing that's kind of an interesting tidbit is when Beju Shah and Raj Agrawal and Michael Goldberg and a few other crazy folks in this crowd got together about 4 years ago and said, we need a platform to talk about immigrant and global entrepreneurship. No one's doing it. And we said, well, let's look at immigrant entrepreneurship groups that are already out there in the Valley, in Boston. We don't want to invent a new one. Let's get a chapter. So we looked at the Taiwanese one, we looked at the Chinese one, we looked at the Israeli one. And the most sophisticated was the Indian one, TiE, the Indus Entrepreneur, which has now been renamed the International Entrepreneur to reflect a global pan-immigrant, pan-global market. So we approached TiE in the Valley. We said, we'd like to have a chapter here. They said, good luck. We get 2 requests a week from somewhere in the world. And if you want to get a chapter, this is what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to raise $15,000, $20,000 of venture capital, hire an executive director, have space, and believe in the mantra of mentoring entrepreneurs and not treating your Rolodex as intellectual property. But Jenny Brown and her husband Glenn I don't think she knew too much about TiE, but I think she trusted the people that were having the discussion. And so we said, listen, we don't know if we can do this with TiE and start this chapter. Well, let's throw a little event. And let's see what happens. Let's get the word out on the internet and through our network that, hey, we want to start a group that's embracing and supporting immigrant and global entrepreneurs. So Jenny and Glenn came to that first event. It was on East 6th Street in a beer-soaked bar. Beju's only request was that it was not an Indian restaurant. I think we did that. We had 100 people show up. Russians, Chinese, Indians, Mexicans, Africans, Arabs. Many of the people that you see as nominees tonight from those parts of the world represent those groups. And they said, you know what? We asked them, why are you here? And they said, no one's speaking to us like this. No one has invited us. No one has welcomed us. So let me just read a little bit about Jenny's background so you get some more feel for who she is. She spent 38 years in industrial research, retiring in 1989 as Director of Corporate Research for BP, formerly Standard Oil. From 89 to 95, she served as Distinguishing Professor at OU. 95, she was appointed by the Governor to the Idaho Board of Regents. She sat on many boards and chaired many boards, including the Great Lakes Science Museum. She's got many patents and articles. She's given over 500 speeches. But I remember her most because she came to that first event and said, I believe in immigrant entrepreneurs. Dr. Brown?
Thank you very much, Rich. I'm delighted to be here tonight for sure. A favorite saying of mine is by Pasteur, and it is that invention is the product of the prepared mind. There's a big analogy there, I believe, because I think a vibrant community is the product of the effort and the activities of groups like TiE, Jumpstart, Team Neo, Bioenterprise, Magnet, all the ones that were sponsors of the program tonight, and the kind of people who are sitting in this room tonight. Cleveland's a very exciting place to be right now. In fact, Northeast Ohio and Ohio can be exciting. I just came from a meeting of the Generation Foundation. They were talking about economic development. Thursday and Friday, there's a meeting in Cleveland, Mayor's Summit, on sustainability. The state has adopted a new advanced energy initiative coming out of a NorTech cluster right here in Cleveland. There's huge potential here now. Medical Mart, Convention Center, universities, rich in research and generating new centers focused on leading the community to new economic bases built on smart people. My Hungarian parents were immigrants to Cleveland, and they helped to build the city I grew up in. It's a beautiful green city on a blue lake with a rich, colorful tapestry of ethnic backgrounds. I firmly believe the future now for Cleveland will be generated by new innovators, entrepreneurs, small and medium-sized enterprises, students from the U.S. and abroad. I'm especially pleased at the launch of Global Cleveland. This message is very strong and it's very necessary. Every effort to attract educated and eager new individuals to our community should be supported fully. TiE and these awards have taken a giant step forward in such efforts. We're very grateful. I congratulate all the soon-to-be-announced winners tonight and thank TiE for this special evening.